Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, and I believe that the right book at the right time can change lives, and that all readers should read children's literature, especially adults. So that's what we do here on the KidLit Love podcast. We celebrate all things children's literature: picture books, early readers, middle grade, and young adult novels for readers of all ages. In each episode, we'll talk with children's literature authors and discuss their books, their hopes, their dreams for readers, their writing process, and much, much more. Whether you're an adult reading to their inner child or connecting the young readers in your life with fantastic books, you've come to the right place. So grab a notebook to build your TBR, and let's get to today's episode of KidLit Love. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the KidLit Love podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your KidLit loving host, inviting you back to another bookish conversation with a children's literature author. Today, I'm talking with Dan Sachs. Dan is an author, musician, and music educator specializing in early childhood education, and he's the host of the popular podcast Noodle Loaf. He's already published 3 books for children centered around the themes of family, and he's here today to celebrate his new release, On Our Bikes. This book is a joyful, all-ages celebration of bikes and bike culture, and it's the perfect book to kick off a season of spring and summer reading. I can't wait to talk with him all about it, so we are going to jump right to the episode. Dan, welcome to KidLit Love. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. It's a pleasure.
So I mentioned a little bit in the opener, we're here to talk about your newest picture book, On Our Bikes, but there are lots of other things that I would like to know about you, especially the musical piece, the podcast piece. Tell us about you and your work and the journey you've taken through children's literature.
Absolutely. I fancy myself, I identify primarily as a musician. As you said in your intro, I've got this music podcast for kids. I have a background in music education. I also work as a music therapist, and I play music every day of my life and have since I was a little fella. Um, it is my music career and the songs that I wrote for the podcast Noodle Loaf that segued that created the pathway for my first books. And I've got 6 books, 6 board books, 3 about families and 3 about communities. It's all part of sort of a continuing series.
I am glad
So
you corrected me. That's a big deal. We just doubled your backlist right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Look at that. I got all these books that I'm still identifying as a musician that nobody's ever heard of. Look, I got to be me. Um, and so the the first 2 books in the family series, Families Belong and Families Can, were first songs that appeared on Noodle Loaf, with similar names, but kind of different, as I found out when my editor reached out to me and wanted to do some books together, and I said, "Great, here's the songs. Uh, can't wait to see them on the shelf." She explained, "No, books are not the same as songs. We have a lot of work to do. You can get away with a
Right.
lot more in lyrics than you can on the page because you can twist a, you can twist a rhyme, and you can also just stuff lands a lot heavier on the page. So that's my background. That's how I moved into the KidLit world. It was really through my songs, and that I arrived here. And now I continue. Most of this, I think all my books really have a song attached to them. Sometimes the book comes first, sometimes the song comes first. But every time I'm doing a story time, it's an opportunity for me to make music with people. And
Mm.
anyone who knows me knows that if I'm inviting you to come over, or if we're doing something together, I'm going to try to get you to make music with me at some point. Some people like that, some people probably don't, but they don't tell
We've
me.
all been warned.
We've been warned. If you show up at my house, we singing together.
We sing. I love that. I feel like as a former educator of little people, I now work with teachers who want to become teachers. But when you think about the parallels between the songs and the lyrics and the books, right? They're words strung together that truly become part of you, right? We could recite our favorite books. We can recite our favorite songs. We can recall things about our lives when we hear that song or look at that book cover. I love how they're just so intentionally connected that way, and you get to bring both together in your work.
Yeah, and kind of build. I mean, that's the front end of that, right? But as I said, I'm also a music therapist, and I have worked
Mhm.
with in a memory care unit, for example, with people with advanced dementia and Alzheimer's. And just like you said, it's part of them, right? So they may not know, the names of their kids. Like it could be a dark place to work, but
Yeah.
you start singing a Sinatra or Harry Belafonte song, and everybody, or not everybody, but a certain number of people will be able to find those songs within themselves. Maybe it takes a piece of their identity with it, or a memory from their childhood with it. So those songs, those lyrics, something about the melody and the rhymes and the whole piece, the qualia of it is, by whatever quirk of our brains, it's in there. And it's really a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. For whatever reason, we are wired to love stories, to need stories, to need music. And uh, yeah, I just love that about us. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things about people.
Book people are great people. And by default, like music people are now good people, right?
The best. Yeah, storytellers, song spinners, these are my people.
Yes, yes. So the book we're talking about today, On Our Bikes, I would love for you to give listeners a little sneak peek beyond what I have done in the opener, and tell us the inspiration behind why this book for your newest.
So this is also one that started off as a song on Noodle Loaf some years ago called "I Got a Bicycle," and I just adore riding bikes, and I have ever since I was a little kid. I think it was like it is for so many kids. It's like the first taste of independence, of freedom, of just acquiring like a new skill that can, quadruple your speed and range. Like it just catapults you into another stratosphere of possibility. And I feel that even as an adult. I mean, I live in New York City, and I I get around on bikes everywhere. I take my kids on, I have, an e-bike with a long back, and I put kids on the back of it, and we can get all around. Um, Much faster than driving. It
Yeah.
goes where the subway doesn't go. You can, you're at like an eye level that's above pedestrian and cars, and you're seeing the city in a different way. You
Mm.
see something, you see like a bakery, you just jump off and grab yourself a Danish,
Yes.
some
Yes.
whatever, a slice of babka. Um, and it's just brought so much joy to my life. And I was excited to put that into a story form and into a book form, to be able to share that. I think connect with kids on that, because I think kids know about it. I think some grown-ups forgot about it.
Yeah.
Grown-ups are, yeah, yeah. Some grown-ups forgot, some grown-ups really know.
I
Um,
forgot. I'm sorry, Dan. I have forgotten the joys of the bike,
yeah,
but
but
I loved seeing you with your bike. So in the book, both you and your illustrator, it's you, the kid version's you with your bikes, and I could instantly recall my banana seat and my white basket and the pink and
oh
white
yeah.
streamers and the little bell that I used to ring. It brought me right back to my childhood bike that I love so much for all of those same reasons.
I guarantee you get on your bike right now, ring that bell, it's gonna feel good. Even if you're just going around the block. I don't know. I don't know. Where do you live?
I'm in upstate New York, so not
You're in
too far
upstate.
away.
Oh
Yeah,
man, you guys have these amazing trails, right?
we
The people,
do.
I haven't been on any of them, but people tell me like the rails, the old train tracks there, there's these like bike paths.
Yeah,
That's a nice place to try this summer.
yeah.
That's my
This
advice to
this
you.
could be this episode could be the inspiration to dust
Yeah.
it off, of the shed and see where I go.
There you go. Mission
Now,
accomplished.
yeah, you mentioned that the book started as a song, which I
Hmm.
didn't realize, but I now totally get because it felt so rhythmic. It is a book written in rhyme, and it had that rhythm. You could feel the movement. You could feel the movement. You could feel the energy of it. And I was going to ask you about that, but it turns out that's because it was a song first. Do you find it easier to go from song to book? or book idea to song? Because I know you said they sometimes come in different orders.
That's a good question. I think probably book to song, honestly, because I'm not attached to something that exists already.
True.
This was one where it has more overlap. It has a fair amount of overlap with the song, but the parts that I changed to make, to make it fit better as a book, or the parts I took out was like it took some doing, and I had to really kind of like let go of like some things and other
Mhm.
things I got to take with me. So yeah, I feel like the initial kind of dismantling of the song is always like a step that I most kidlit authors don't really have to do. You have
Right.
to do it in that you'll have your first draft, so right,
Right.
of whatever your thing is, and then your editor says you have one good stanza here, and you have to dump the
Yeah.
rest. Um, but so but this song has already existed within me for many years, and I've performed it, and yeah, it was one of my favorite songs from the show from Noodle Loaf. So yeah, it took a little bit of like, okay, we can take this part out, and I'm keeping
Yeah.
this part. Um, but yeah, it's a all of the songs or most of the songs on Noodle Loaf are echo songs, so they're like repeat after me kinds of songs. So this one too, it's like I got a bicycle, I got a bicycle, I got a bike
Yeah.
belt, I got a. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it really does have a rhythm, which so does riding a bike.
Yes. And all sorts of bikes. There were balance bikes, two wheels, trikes, training wheels. I can't remember others, but I loved how everybody, no matter what your age and what your ability and what your preference, there was a bike. There was a bike for you to either remember back to, or, if a child is reading this, to see themselves and perhaps what could be next on their bike adventures. I loved that progression
Mhm.
over the course of the book. Not that it was linear, but that it just had this really nice range of everybody. Everybody can have the version of a bike that's for them.
Absolutely. And I see it every morning. I mean, I bike my kids to school most days, and these bike lanes are filled with different kinds of bikes, different kinds of people, different, kids in front, kids on the back, two kids on the back and a trailer behind it with a dog in it.
Yeah.
There's all the different variations because, hey, man, there's traffic,
Yeah.
you can either sit in a traffic and sit in a, just kind of be honking, or you can, we've got nice bike lanes now. So you can just kind of like whiz through, breeze in
Yeah.
your hair, put a
Yeah.
speaker on there, listen to whatever your favorite tunes are. Like it wasn't like that when I first started biking my kids to school. And it certainly wasn't like that when I first started biking around New York, but it's really the lanes have been popping up. And our current mayor is, dedicated to putting out more bike lanes, and it's a beautiful thing. Somehow the future seems to be tied to a very old technology, vehicle wise, a very
Yes.
simple machine.
Well, I mean, everywhere you look on social media, 2006 has been declared the year of analog, right? To go back to the old school books and the old school making and paper and paints and crafts and
Yep.
hands in the dirt. So it makes sense. It's this, reminder of often what is really important and really helpful and feels really good, doesn't need to have a whole bunch of stuff attached to it, just the basics.
Amen. I just got my kids an FM radio.
Yes.
I, I don't know all these things. Like, how do I like? I love music so much, right? So it's like, how do I get you just this experience of like discovery, right? And I was like, is there an app? Is there a thing, gadget, a doohickey? Like, you know what? How about a dial? And
Yeah.
when if you don't like the song, you turn the dial. And if there's an advertisement, you turn the dial, and then you'll land on something. Maybe some, a pop song you've heard a trillion times. Maybe something you've never heard before that you
Yeah.
realize that you dig. But yeah, I'm with you.
I
There's
love it.
something was gained and something was lost in the digital revolution.
Yes. Yes. And I think the other thing that your book brings out beautifully too, bikes don't use gas or stinky fumes, which means they're also good for us and
Yeah,
our world and our natural world. Was that something you were hoping to convey in the book as well?
I snuck it in there. Like yeah, bikes are an environmentally friendly option. They are a healthy option, and I don't think either of those things are the things that will convince people to ride bikes or are even the best reasons to. Those are great reasons to ride bikes, but I don't think I think getting someplace getting from point A to point B faster is the reason we ride bikes around New York City. It is the
Yeah.
fastest way um, to get around, and the joy of it to be able to like whiz through the park or cut across
Mhm.
town or stop, jump off because you ran into a friend. Those kinds of things. We're not looking for parking.
Right.
We just need a street sign.
Right.
uh,
Right.
so
Take
I
the
think,
stress off.
but all of that and no stinky fumes. It's not noisy.
Yeah.
It's get a little exercise, never hurt nobody.
Yep.
Uh, all those things are things I like about bicycles.
Yeah. They all stack up.
They stack
Definitely
up.
all stack up. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, I want to make sure we are talking about these incredible, delightful, bright, energetic illustrations. These are gorgeous. I would love for you to talk about them and what you think of them as how they brought your words to life.
So that's exactly why we chose Joao. Um, the editor, Cecily Kaiser, she sent me a few different illustrators that they were considering, and immediately, and the stuff that she sent me wasn't of, vehicles whizzing by, but there was just so much energy and movement in the way that he illustrates that it was an instant decision. This is the guy. Like these are bright illustrations, and they just yeah they contain an energy, right? Like
I
they
do.
you it, I, yeah. So that was entirely why I was, no pun intended, drawn to him as an illustrator for a book about bicycles. Yeah, because he did great.
Yeah.
He did such a beautiful job.
It is the energy and the movement. There's
Hmm.
something about the way it was drawn. It's the colors and it's the strokes, but it's also the facial expressions and the pure joy, that
Yeah.
is on the face as well.
Hmm.
It really is the perfect match. The listeners need to they need to see it. They need to
Please.
see your book
Yeah.
and see them paired together. But you do feel that experience of what's happening to those characters on your page.
Yeah, I'm
Really.
I'm I don't fancy myself an artist. I don't like to say anybody's not an artist or a musician or anything, but my doodling is not particularly, we're not going to impress anybody. So I don't know how he gets the magic in there. But yeah, there's something to the
Yeah.
lean of the figures that they do feel like they contain energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes, like I said, it makes you want to get out there. It makes you want to close the book when you're done and perhaps get on your bike.
Get on that bike and ride. Yes.
So as you think about your newest book going out into the world, what is your hope for it or your hope for readers who get the chance to read it?
So on the back of my bike, I have like a little like a poster of the front of the thing. So I'm hoping that everyone who I pass by goes out and gets the book, and then we all meet up in the park with our bikes and we all read it, and then we bike around, and we're just all best bike friends.
Oh, I
That's
love it. I love
that's
it.
my hope. I hope every time I do a story time, everybody shows up on their bikes, and then afterwards we say, "Where should we go?" And we bike down to the beach, or we go,
Oh,
on rides around town. That's my bike. So my bike book fantasy
yeah.
uh, is that we just, yeah, create this legion
Yes.
of kidlit reading bicycle people.
That sounds delightful. And even not in New York City, you could have those clubs pop up everywhere and then
Yeah,
snap pictures and send them to you so that you get that same joy
I
vicariously.
like the sound of that.
I think you've just started a movement,
Let's
Dan.
do it.
So tell me, I know we're talking about your newest book, but are there any other projects or things in the works for you that you want to give listeners a glimpse into?
Sure. Well, I have another trilogy of board books coming out that expands on the series about families and the series about community. This one's about friends, um, and it's just, when my kids were really little, I feel like friendship was just it's just like a really interesting and complex thing, and
Yeah.
um, I really just had a beautiful time writing about kind of the ins and outs of friendships, the beauty of friendships, the complexities of friendships. So that's something that's in the pipeline, and also I'm developing a card game that's also connected to Noodle Loaf in some way. It's like a music card game, and I'm gonna have it probably ready by the end of the year. Like as in the decks in my hand. It's a party game, it's a music game, it's a rhythmic game. It's super fun. It's one of these games where it's like a fairly simple game, but it gives that it gives it creates an opportunity for your friends or your family or whomever to just crack each other up and be creative and be musical. And like I said, like I'm always just trying to find ways to get people to make music with me. And this
Yep.
is a way that I figured out to get people to make music and that I don't even have to see them in person. They could just be,
They could
on the
just
other
do
end of
it.
the country,
Yes.
making
Yes.
music with my game.
Well, they could have the card deck in their bike basket when they meet up and they could have some fun and then really just make you happy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, everybody's meeting up in the park on their bikes with my game and playing and making music. I have created the the world of my dreams.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Congratulations on that. That is
thanks.
great.
Thank you.
So where is the best place where listeners can find you online so that they can connect around Noodle Loaf or these new things that are coming as well?
So I've got a website, which is noodleloaf.com, and that's got, all the stable links to books and podcasts and things like that. And then I've occasionally sort of try to be decent about updating my social medias when important things are happening. So I've got my own, which is Dan Sachs, and then I have Noodle Loaf. I think it's Noodle Loaf Show. I should know this kind of stuff, right?
I'll
Um,
find it.
but yeah, that's where Noodle. Yeah, I'm sharing things about story times and upcoming projects, and extravagant lunches or stuff that people put on the social media. So you can
What
find it
people
there.
put on social media, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will collect those links and I will put them into the show notes for listeners. I, of course, will put links to the books, especially on our bikes that we mentioned today. And I want to end with a big thank you. This is a lot of fun. I will I think get my bike out and see what happens after that.
I want to see photos or it didn't happen, Stephanie.
That's right.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure chatting.
Yes, you too. And listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of Kidlit Love, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Kidlit Love podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. You'll also find Kidlit Love on Substack. That's where you'll find posts for each episode, monthly Kidlit roundups, and an invitation to join my summer book club and go deeper into the world of children's literature. And if you loved this podcast and want more, you might like to listen to my other podcast called Get Literate. It's a podcast that explores all things books and reading, notebooks and writing to build a life you love. One more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish community of Kid Lit Love. Thanks for listening.